On your side at 6, Richmond's annual Lebanese Food Festival returns, bringing international cuisine and tasty treats to the community. Plus, mental health is often overlooked, but one local event is taking the time to help people find the mindfulness they need. And with time ticking down on the debt ceiling deadline, the nation's leaders still searching for common ground in order to reach an agreement.
This is NBC 12, on your side at 6.
Here's a live look outside our studios as we close out the weekend with a warm and sunny Sunday. Thank you so much for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Riley Wyant. Let's start by checking in with weather specialist Nick Russo. Nick, what can we expect leading into this evening?
Hey Riley, I heard you talking about the Lebanese Food Festival earlier. I was out there. It was a beautiful day, great food, and now we have nice weather for the evening as well. We're in the mid and upper 70s across central Virginia, 76 in Richmond, 75 in Petersburg, 76 in Wakefield, 74 up toward Tappahannock and West Point, a little bit cooler off to the north and east of Richmond, which is often the case this time of the year because water temperatures are cooler than the air mass over the land. As we look at our forecast for the next 5 hours, we'll drop back into the mid and upper 60s as we get toward 9 to 10 o'clock tonight under a mostly clear sky. Dry weather holding on for the overnight right into your Monday morning. It is going to be a nice start to the work week. The next couple of days going to be very similar to today. And coming up in your first alert forecast, we have a nice work week to look forward to, but we are tracking the forecast for next weekend, the all-important unofficial start of summer, as we have a long holiday weekend coming up. And unfortunately, we're going to track the chance for some rain as we get towards Friday, Saturday, and potentially Sunday. We'll take a look at what to expect with that and whether or not we could end up being a little bit drier. That's coming up in your first alert forecast. Riley?
Alrighty, well, thank you, Nick. We start with an awful accident. My heart just sank when I read this morning. The daughter of a Virginia State Police trooper is left with severe injuries after VSP trooper Daniel Scoletta's 6-year-old daughter was in a pickup truck playing with a ratchet strap when one end went out the window, got wrapped around the vehicle's drive shaft. The other end tightened around her feet, severing them. She was flown to Roanoke Memorial Hospital where she underwent emergency surgery. She is now recovering in the pediatric ICU and will likely require more surgeries in the future. The VSP Association is accepting donations to their emergency relief fund to help support Scoletta's daughter and family. And if you'd like to make a donation, you can visit the website there on your screen. Well, this afternoon, the Richmond community came together in Monroe Park to learn about mindfulness. The Mindfulness Movement event features wellness professionals for people to talk to, as well as opportunities to participate in yoga, dancing, singing, and more. Sound bowls and a gong were used to keep everyone focused on themselves rather than the busy city surrounding the park. 2 wellness professionals explain why taking care of your mental health is essential to a healthy life.
Mental health is health, and that we all want to be healthy so that we can show up for our families, for our friends, for our coworkers, even for strangers.
To calm our energy down, to calm those emotions down, to calm everything down so we can have a moment just to think and have clear energy.
The Mindfulness Movement event is expected to become a monthly occurrence on the 3rd Sunday of each month. Well, if you're hungry, you still have time to get some authentic Lebanese food. The 38th annual Lebanese Food Festival happening right now until 8 p.m. at St. Anthony's Maronite Church in Glen Allen. Jennifer Blake stopped by to check out the crowd and has why this event is so special to so many in the community.
Nearly 4 decades of sharing a piece of the Lebanese culture with the local community. That piece of their culture is their food. I'm told that each year about 40,000 people are expected to participate.
They do the best food festival in town, no comparison.
It's a labor of love.
The annual Lebanese Food Festival at St. Anthony's Maronite Church drawing thousands of people throughout the weekend to try different Lebanese cuisines. And while the crowds may seem overwhelming, it brings joy to the festival volunteers. One volunteer tells me it's really not too much of a challenge to make the food for thousands of people. She says it's what they do best in the Lebanese culture.
It's in our blood, like Sunday dinner. If you don't have 20 or 25 people, you don't know what to do. So to do it for 40,000 people, we do it in segments. And
for 3 days, the food festival brought people together throughout the community to dig into traditional meals, desserts, and drinks, including Lebanese beer and wine.
we are very proud of our culture and our food and our traditions. And as RVA has embraced us, they want to share in it. And so being such a hospitable culture, we are happy to do that.
One attendee has been going to the festival for over 20 years. He says it's the atmosphere that draws him back each time.
Couldn't ask for anything nicer.
All of the money raised goes towards St. Anthony Church, but it also goes towards things like scholarships. On your side in Glen Allen, Jennifer Blake, NBC 12 News.
Thank you, Jennifer. Well, the city of Richmond wants your input on a pedestrian improvement project near Kanawha Plaza. The Department of Public Works will hold a public meeting to discuss the US 60 Downtown Expressway Gateway Pedestrian Improvement Project. That is a mouthful. The project aims to provide safer pedestrian access to the plaza. Some proposed improvements would include adding widening sidewalks and installing pedestrian signals. The meeting will take place at Main Street Station tomorrow from 5 to 7 p.m. Well, as we approach the Memorial Day holiday, the DMV and AAA are teaming up with first responders in Virginia and law enforcement, state police for the annual Click It or Ticket campaign. Memorial Day weekend is considered one of the busiest and deadliest travel weekends of the year. The campaign kicks off tomorrow and runs through June 4th. An early look at the markets appearing grim after President Biden issued a warning on the state of the debt ceiling talks. Time is running out for a deal and the stakes could not be higher. Experts say the U.S. is failing to lift the debt ceiling and that could lead to an economic crash. Tina Kim has more.
Hours after making gains abroad with world leaders, President Biden is facing setbacks at home with Republican lawmakers. In less than 2 weeks, June 1st, the nation is likely to default unless the debt ceiling is lifted, a date the Treasury Secretary reaffirmed Sunday. And as the deadline closes in, President Biden showed the two sides are farther apart.
Now it's time for the other side to move from their extreme positions because much of what they've already proposed is simply, quite frankly, unacceptable.
The president also gave this warning about Republicans.
I can't guarantee that they wouldn't force a default by doing something outrageous.
Republicans blame Biden for waiting too long to negotiate, and now they say changing positions, such as bringing back tax increases when the issue had been taken off the table, according to House Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
I mean, waiting those 97 days and now changing positions every day, that's not productive. I'm glad he's finally getting back into the country.
But the speaker sounded more optimistic after a call with the president as he flew back from Japan.
I believe it was a productive phone call.
The debt ceiling threat is casting a long shadow over the president's achievements at the G7 summit, helping Ukraine against the Russian invasion. Before returning to the U.S., he sat down with Volodymyr Zelensky. Ukraine's president thanked Biden for approving the training of his pilots on the F-16 fighter jet and for the U.S. granting another $375 million in military aid. I'm Tina Kim reporting.
Well, starting today, the I-64 East ramp from the 7th Street will be closed nightly for emergency bridge repairs. These closures will be in effect through the end of June. VDOT will have detours in place to reroute drivers. They are also urging drivers to slow down and drive with caution in this area. Also happening today, GRTC is making some changes that may affect the way you get around town. It's realigning many routes to go through the new downtown transfer station. However, that station isn't set to open until mid-June. So in the meantime, buses will be stopping at the temporary transfer plaza on 9th Street. You can head to GRTC's website for more information on these changes. Well, VCU is gearing up for high school graduations at the Siegel Center. Those start tomorrow with Chesterfield County Schools. Graduations for Chesterfield, New Kent, and Henrico County Schools will be held at the center from May 22nd to 24th and June 5th through June 9th. VSU will also be holding 2 Chesterfield graduations at its multipurpose center on May 26th. Thousands are expected to attend these ceremonies, so be prepared for a lot of traffic in those areas in those days. Italy continues to suffer from deadly floodwaters as thousands are forced to leave their homes behind. We have new videos showing the devastating degree of damage. And the UVA community using art to reflect on gun violence across America while also honoring those 3 football players who lost their lives to gun violence in November. Stay with us. We're back right after this.